Projection.
Hey, Adam. When you go back and watch this for like the third or fourth time, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button.
I'm not going to get it on the first few.
No, you're too enthralled.
Yeah,
I get
It'd
it.
take 3 go-arounds to get that like and subscribe.
you know how they say like the game slows down for a good quarterback over the years? It's still, I'm just enamored. It's moving too fast for me.
I walked by my daughter. She was watching some kid's YouTube thing, and I said, "Give me a like and subscribe." And she looked at me and goes, "See, that joke wouldn't work on the audio podcast, by the way."
You got a real life like and
I
subscribe.
got a real. We do challenge talk lately here on the YouTube section. I mean, where do we start? Let's. Do we want to go 2 episodes back? Is there anything that you remember about that you just felt pressed to talk about?
Brad coming on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Kylan looks pretty good, huh?
I like him. I like his competitiveness and his attitude. Yeah.
He seems pretty...
I have for a while.
Yeah. I feel like we say every season, it's if you're going to be... Whatever you're going to be, just be self-aware, you know? And he seems to know when he's playing a game and when he's not, which makes it fun to watch.
This was an episode of the challenge that I think I got the most angry ever.
Ever.
Because I've got a big gap between my challenge watching. I watched like the first, 5-6 seasons, and then huge gap, and then the last, 5 seasons or something. But Michelle and Asaf throwing the game so Horacio had no chance to win, that was 2 episodes ago. I know that happens nearly every season. It just pissed me off really badly this time. You know, they were doing handing the letters from up, from the water tank. And it's infuriating. Did that not have an effect on either of y'all who watch?
I mean, I think to me, I'm not against that as a strategy, but what's obnoxious is when Michelle and Asaf think that they're the first ones to think of it. They're like, hey, we're going to do this thing. This is like a new, look at us go. We figured something out. It's like, y'all.
The smirk on his face.
This isn't clever.
Really. No, it was not. And then Michelle does this artifice where she's just like, I can't find the letter. I mean, it was so...
Bad actors. We've been saying it all season. Just a bunch of bad actors.
It's so horribly acted. But then I think the nail in the coffin was when Horacio said, you know, it's the very end of the challenge, so he hadn't had time to think probably, but he goes, yeah, it's just bad luck. And you're just
Poor
like,
guy.
No, dude, they fucked you over.
If he doesn't
He's
get
like,
cast
I just
again,
completed. Yeah.
that'll be why. He's like a little too sweet.
Yeah.
Too naive.
Yeah. Naive, even. Donovan, you were about to jump in here.
Oh, I just like that. Having like what I've picked up, bad actors describes this season in all sense, like bad actors, and also like bad actors in like a Vladimir Putin sense.
Right.
Exactly. No, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been that pissed since Jay eliminated CT. That was my other. And remember, that was the first season I'd started watching again, so I was like, oh, I remember CT. I love this guy.
This will be great.
And this will be great. And then he's like gone in the second episode, third episode. Yeah. Oof. We'll get to that. We're going to talk about CT in a bit, but I'm just going to make sure that there was nothing else from that episode I wanted to mention, and you guys feel free to help me out here.
Well, the episode before was maybe the first cracks in the giant alliance, which is good. You know, you saw it play out. If we were talking last week, we would say, like, surely some of these will spiral. And then, of course, they did. But it's... I mean, this is what Bananas used to accuse Wes of all the time, right? You go around and you promise everybody everything, and at the end, you just have a bunch of frustrated people. Whereas Bananas usually is only... I feel like people who... Natalie can correct me here, but most of the time with those vets and the way that Bananas plays... Everybody kind of knows what number they are in the pecking order the whole time.
For sure. And there's not like, with Johnny, it was never like, there's an alliance, but then there's a secret alliance on top of that alliance. If you were in with him, he was being straight with you.
Totally.
Right. And people would even say, like, well, it's getting to that time where there's 4 of us left, and I know I'm on the outside looking in, so, like, I got to win.
This was the 2 episodes ago. This is the Brad episode, we'll just call it, because I can't remember the title officially. Jay went from decent his first season, mid in recent season, but here he's absolutely insufferable. He's saying that Nuris is yelling at him. You remember this? He's in the bar.
Yes. Infuriating.
Yeah.
That was sexist as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also does these things that a lot of challengers do where he calls the other competitor's kid. I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, when
Like-
you're 45 years old, everybody is a child. So. That wasn't on you. That was Jay looks like he's 45 years old.
Well, I'm not on the challenge, so
Right. Because you were
I'm a 47-year-old podcaster. So
Right. After that episode, we went and watched Jay's elimination with Rogan, just for a bit of catharsis.
Loved it.
Yeah, it's
I
been a
did
rough
too. Yeah,
day. Yeah.
you reminded me to, and then I did it. To quote the great Dr. Don Noble of the University of Alabama, no one should wear a hat backwards unless they're a catcher, which is Jay.
It's actually doing some favors, you know.
I know. I've never seen a person as afraid on this show that I can recall who wasn't like jumping off a building or in the middle of an elimination or something like that. But as Jay was when he went to talk to Kylan in that episode by the pool, and he was just
it was good to remember why him and Michelle spiraled. Like when they had a little bit of power last season, and then they got so. Which I know we all think that we would be like, we could get on there and play it cool and stuff, but like this paranoid reaction is probably like representative of most human beings, right? I'm not trying to like garner any sympathy for them, but it is funny to watch it play out. And what you were saying about Nerys and him yelling at her and how just, telling a woman that they're getting emotional as like a way to discount their argument being super problematic. He then goes and picks a fight with the guy who like has shared that he is on the spectrum and talks about like how he presents himself emotionally. He's 0 for 2 on good choices here. And Kylan came away looking great in that encounter.
Oh yeah, it made him. And I've read on message boards a lot that people did not like Kylan in Big Brother, I guess is where he's from. I think so. They did not like him there, but I think they may have sort of liked him in his first challenge, and now they really like him because it's kind of him versus Jay, and no one likes Jay anymore.
Can I say something about Kylan? My thoughts early on in the season. His hair was kind of uncanny valley to me.
Yeah, I can
the
see
specific poop that it has is it's so perfect that it almost looks animated.
Yeah.
It's too good.
When you pair it with his face, he's such a good-looking guy, too.
Right.
He's basically a sim.
Yeah. And now his hair's gotten a little longer, and they've been in the house longer. It's kind of sticking out different ways, and it's like, okay, this actually exists.
To be fair, I recognize Jay's reaction as pure fear because that's how I've reacted before in high school. I was just like, okay, you want to do that? Very just childish, like, I'm just going to scream. Yeah, puff up like a...
I mean, Donovan, how many fights did we watch in front of our apartment building in college that were based on the exact premise?
More than 5.
Yeah.
More than 10.
Most recent episode was the mini final. That's where we'll go now. So, TJ telling Jay's team that their little stacks, their competition, it had to be perfect, telling Jay that they were incorrect after Jay had been yelling, "Did it again. I've won another mini final." It was icing on the cake for that episode.
I'm going to say the second nice thing about Jay that I've said. One
I
being
hate
that
this so much.
I can't believe I'm doing it. He gave that soundbite in a confessional. It wasn't live. He was like, I beat Kylan again, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he voluntarily made himself look like an ass in that, which I guess if you know that you're gonna try to make a career out of being on reality TV, you gotta bite the bullet every now and again. I just thought that was interesting. Because he gave one that was pretty infuriating.
Surely he was prompted.
I'm sure, but he sold it pretty well.
It pairs well with my theory that I think Jay is being prompted to constantly say something negative about Kylan and her in his, Kylan's group, Horacio, and because he just mentions it every single confessional. Surely he's got more to say than that, but
kind of like the CT thing. Like he's not talking about CT out of thin air. I don't think.
Probably not.
All the foreshadowing that they've done this season.
Yeah, but with
But
that
maybe
one, with that one, it seems like they wouldn't prompt him if they know that CT wasn't going to pick him or whatever.
Well, they know that CT's coming. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's just like bringing up CT. Production really has spent 15 weeks hyping CT being on the show, which we can talk about the fact that they then gave him a math equation to solve as being kind of a downer. But
there was a bit of his brute strength involved, but it was short-lived to push the thing around.
Yeah,
the thing. I don't understand, and Natalie can help us here. I don't understand why they go in with this mindset and deliberation with just like, well, we only have him and him to pick. No, you've got 4 or 5 people you can choose. Why are you just like one? I don't. You can say anyone's name as long as they didn't win the daily challenge. So, like Jay not being a possibility in this instance, or at least the competitors not acting like that, that's just stupid.
Yeah, and like Jay getting mad at Nerys, I think it was, because she didn't change her vote. And he decided it was only her fault that she didn't change her vote. That who went down, Emmanuel? Oh no, it was
nobody went down.
That's right. He wanted, but she didn't change from him. And she's supposed there's just Jay's playing such a sketchy he keeps saying Emmanuel's my secret number 1, but then I've also got the Fantastic Four, which is the most cringeworthy thing that has ever been on the challenge. It's like how is anybody supposed to know what's going to hurt his feelings? Because also Asaf is his best friend in the whole world, so we can't touch him. And it's just so annoying. I've never been more annoyed at a season of the challenge than I am this season.
Did you see the twinkle in Ed's eye when he decided, I'm going to make this a tie still?
Yeah, how is this not? This is just Jay. I'm going to make some accusations here. Jay being a sexist and blaming it on the women every time.
Well, if the shoe fits.
Yeah, I guess.
Because he does. He comes in and blames Olivia and yells, pretty much yells at her.
But Ed was the one who really threw it. He could have thrown Emmanuel in and said he chose to vote for whoever he voted for.
Whoever he voted for, yes, right.
He voted for Jay or something like that to lock the vote up.
Yeah.
And then he does his grown man fit over it, right? Wes, have you seen Wes's tweets about this?
I haven't.
It was a little more broad than just this instance, but he said that they needed this season to determine who can rise to the occasion, and that the politics was better in this episode.
For sure. This is the first time that they all had to think on their feet and kind of come up with a plan. And they got it to a stalemate, and then it took a little bit of, Ed, like you said, the twinkle in his eye when he realized that he could control the outcome there.
It was wonderful. Makes Ed look like a future challenge legend.
I mean, I like Ed.
Yeah, me too. Have you seen Kylan's tweets by the chance?
I haven't.
I've got a few of these pulled up. Some of my favorites was TBH, CT looks bigger, all caps, in person.
Jeez.
That was nice. And he just kind of details what happened there. It's kind of interesting. He says, the joy I felt when Ed got the devious look on his face and decides to keep the tie. He does the prayer hands and happy face. It's he's got some good insight to it. He talks about how they made a deal before the mini challenge and that it was broken by Michelle. It's interesting. Let's get into the meat of this. Our YouTube segment is usually not this long, but we had 2 episodes to cover. CT's appearance.
Just grins. A house full of grinning. Nobody could have been happier than the Morrow house.
Are we hoping for a little better shape for season 40's CT? Because he's pretty much booked. He said so. Yeah, he's like, I'll see you.
To TJ's surprise, he said he was booked.
Yeah, TJ had a look like, you're not supposed to say that, dude. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. So he came in kind of half, 3/4 dad bod.
I don't think it matters.
It may not.
I mean, all the seasons that he's won, aside from Rivals 2, have been dad bod era.
Well, he comes on and then all he does is work out. The whole
he drops weight from week 1 down to week 12.
Which is
it's just
hilarious.
It is hilarious. He message boards, internet claim that he's even bigger on the traders, so he's maybe already starting to drop. It's interesting. It seems as though he's guaranteed for season 40. You got to think bananas would be. And I also saw, speaking of Wes's tweets, he put this on Instagram maybe or Twitter, that he's flexing and he says something about winning a bet, and it goes back to him making a bet with someone. If he goes back on the challenge, he'll owe them money. So even he may come out of his very short retirement.
I do think Wes deserves a MTV send-off.
Mm-hmm.
He got done dirty on the CBS thing.
Yeah, as entertaining as that
montage
season.
of Arms of the Angels, that kind of thing.
It was very interesting. It still is interesting that they really do separate those. It's like that. You're on season 39 of the challenge, and I always think, well, they always say last season. I'm like, wait, no, okay, that was the Challenge USA.
It's getting to be a lot.
A little much, yeah. But, I mean, just count it all as one.
Well, now it seems like people are more excited to watch this to find out when All-Stars 4 is going to start than they are to watch this actual season.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Has that not been filmed and in the books for like a year now?
Oh, yeah.
Or longer?
Yeah, for sure, which is why people are getting impatient. I mean, it's got to start when this ends, right? Maybe a few weeks after.
And they've got to do a big purge, as you called it, probably, next week? They've got to... There's still got 15 players or 16. Ooh. Well, that's our challenge talk for our YouTube segment. Seems to be what we'll do. I don't know.
Are we not going to take a minute to celebrate the elimination of one of the most annoying players?
The floor's open. I want you to lead this one.
I just would like to acknowledge that Asaf is finally gone. And Jay threw a pity party, and he wept. And it was very
Jay cried.
That's all I have
As
to say
Natalie
about
has
it.
said on this show before, it's okay to show your feelings. But
I have never, ever
not.
said that.
yes, you have. You said it's okay to cry or show your feelings or something.
No, it's okay to feel your feelings, but you keep those things bottled inside.
You keep your hat backwards on your head and you cry your tears in the bathroom.
That's right.
Jay.
You cry in the shower so nobody can see.
Right behind locked doors.
That's the way I've always done it. Huh.
The Tobias method.
Cram that washcloth into your mouth.
Excuse me.
But true, if you got CT coming in, you want him to take out Jay, and if not Jay, yeah, Asaf is second best.
But I will say though, sorry, I'm going to keep talking about the challenge for a second.
Love it. Let's do it.
CT coming out and saying Jay beat me fair and square. I don't have a problem with him.
Yeah,
is a lesson that all of those challengers need to learn. Like, this is not a personal, you hurt my feelings. You're playing a game. Just because somebody beat you in the past does not make them your enemy.
Also, I think there were two things going on there. One was unintentional and one was intentional. One, I don't think he meant to kind of insult Jay's big thing. But I said this is like Josh saying that he's Wes's competition, and Wes is like, no, we're not. So he didn't want to give him. I don't think CT thought about it as much as Wes did, but you can't give him that leg up. But I do think he probably considered, if I call this guy down right now and they ever do a Rivals-based season again, I'm going to be stuck with him.
Fair.
And I don't want that.
That's interesting. No, I agree.
But
he
punches Jordan in the face on the first day of season 40, we'll know what he's trying to do.
He won't punch Jordan. He's got better brain on him than that. No, you're right. It was inadvertently kind of squashing any kind of beef there. He's like, no, you beat me fair and square. Boom, move on. It almost made Jay look temporarily insignificant.
Yeah, it's deflating.
Yeah. All right. Well, gosh. Yeah, that was fun. More CT always. which is it's almost made me watch The Traitors, but I don't know if we'll see. We'll see if I end up watching any of The Traitors this time. Okay, that's it. If you have watched us, thank you. And the audio's out there. This actually comes out later in the day. See ya.